AI's not taking your job. The person who learned to teach it will. And almost nobody knows how to teach it yet. I mean, I sure didn't. A year ago, I tried it on my own company and I face planted in front of my own books. However, I'm not the only one who fucked it up. Amazon built a leaderboard to force all their people to use AI. They ranked everybody by usage. Climbed the board? You look good. So people used it, burning money to win a game nobody needed to play. Amazon killed the whole thing as soon as they saw the bill. Here's what that actually tells you. Forcing people to use AI is not the same as teaching them to. And that difference is this whole video. Cut, it's a wrap. You've heard every guru say it. Teaching AI is just like teaching a person. You've got to know how to teach. True. And then they stop right before the part that matters. Because here's the lie that everybody's running on. That AI is so smart, you can point them at a problem, hand it a job title, and trust the model to figure out the rest. It can't. And it's not because the model isn't there yet. The model's there. You're not there yet. Your instructions are not there yet. Half of you typed act as a world-class whatever into a chatbot, watched it spit out garbage, and decided AI is overhyped. You didn't hire a bad employee. You wrote a one-line job description, walked out of the building, and blamed the new hire for not reading your mind. That's a brainless move. And before I show you the fix, know that getting this wrong, it cost me real money, weeks of it. Let me show you exactly how. Last year, a rival company poached a chunk of my team. They pulled 4 people out at once. One of them was my bookkeeper. Side note, don't run accounting in-house. I had somebody with no gap knowledge doing American books. My fault. Tuition paid, and I'm moving on. So anyway, she's gone, and I'm thinking, fine, I'll just automate her job. How hard can bookkeeping be, right? Here's exactly what I did. I opened up a chat, one of the AI tools at the time, and I typed something like, I need to automate bookkeeping. What does a bookkeeper do? Build me a bookkeeping agent that handles all of it. I turned that into an agent, pointed it at the whole job, and hit go. It face planted. Every single part of it. The data was off. The accuracy was off. The frequency was off. The opinions the thing was forming about my money were off. There wasn't a piece of it I could trust. But here's why it failed. It wasn't the model. It was me. I asked it to be a bookkeeper. That's not a task. That's a job title. I was asking a machine to reverse engineer 20 years of someone's experience from one sentence. Of course it failed. I would have fired a human who came back with that. The difference is that the human would have at least asked me a question first. The actual framework hiding in this, you automate tasks. You can't automate a title. Job title versus tasks. Burn that in. Before you ask AI to do anything real, ask yourself, have I broken this down to a step a person could follow without guessing? If the answer is no, you're not ready to automate. You're ready to fail at automating it on schedule because AI is the best employee you will ever hire. Never sleeps, never quits, and never gets poached by the company down the street that took my last 4. Yet you keep firing it on day 1 because you're too cheap and too lazy to write the training manual you'd write for a teenager running your register. So I gave up automating it myself. I hired a big accounting firm to clean up my mess. I thought bookkeeping was one thing, one job, in one box on an org chart. They said, we've got about 2,500 transactions connecting your QuickBooks to your Stripe, and we can't classify them automatically. It's manual on our end, one at a time, and it's out of scope. It's gonna cost extra, and we're gonna have to put 3 or 4 accountants on it for days, maybe weeks. And that's the second the whole thing clicked. These people, decades of experience, just told me without meaning to that bookkeeping isn't one job. It's this 2,500 transaction piece and 100 other pieces just like it. I never broke it down. I handed AI a title and expected it to find the pieces by itself. The firm didn't rescue me. The firm handed me the exact thing I'd skipped. So I took that one piece, just the one, and I broke it into observable actions, one at a time, until each action was so small, it couldn't be split any further. The atom of the job. Then I looked at the chain and grabbed the 2 or 3 atoms in the middle that I had an API connection for. I automated those and I left the rest alone. What I ended up with, human, human, then automation, 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 back to human and human. Tiny human parts, the automation carried the weight. The result, those 2,500 transactions, one pass under 10 minutes. The firm wanted 4 people in weeks. The job versus the atom. You don't automate the job, you automate the atom. Here's how you apply it. Pick one job in your business you've decided AI can't do. It's not a job. It's 20 tasks in a trench coat pretending to be a job so you don't look too closely. Break one task down until it's irreducible. Automate the one irreducible piece that you've got API connections for. That's your first partial win. You don't boil the ocean, you boil one atom. 4 trained accountants, 1 transaction at a time for weeks? That's not a workflow. That's a hostage situation with a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, the API did it over a sandwich. And the hardest part of the job was waiting for the page to load. Now the smart one in the back is already talking.
Marcus, you got lucky. The firm found the bottleneck for you. Your framework's just hire experts to do your thinking. That doesn't scale.
No, that's the point. You just made it for me. The high skill was never doing the 2,500 transactions. It was knowing the 2,500 were the bottleneck in the first place. And where did that come from? Decades of doing books. The firm didn't guess. They'd watch this exact thing break 100 times. So sit with this because it's the whole video. The automation didn't come from AI. The automation came from the experience that knew where to point it. The model's a commodity. Anyone rents it for $25 a month. But to know to automate the 2,500 rather than doing it manually, that's the moat. You can't rent that. That never shows up on an API bill. And that experience compounds. The way the person found the atom is itself the framework. You write it down, you make it a system, and you run it again on the next job. Without the firm, experience becomes a method, and method becomes leverage. So let's count who that 10-minute run replaced. Picture a row of desks, your bookkeeper's chair, plus the 3 or 4 the firm wanted to put right next to her. 5 chairs. 1 laptop just emptied all 5. Now look at your whole company and do the math. That's the trajectory. The frameworks people ran by hand, broken down right, mostly automate. The highest skill person stops doing the work and starts deleting the jobs. 1 operator, the output of 100. That's not a fantasy. That's those 5 chairs, every job in the building. And here's the part nobody wants to say to a camera. Done right, you end up with a small number of very high skill people running AI and a large number of low skill people with no chair. AI didn't fire them. The operator who learned to teach it did. The skill didn't vanish. It concentrated into the hands of whoever did the homework. That's source versus multiplier. And get the contrast right, because everybody fumbles it. It's not automate versus don't. Amazon automated. My failed agent automated. The question is, what was the source? Let the tool be the source. You automate badly, burn tokens, build an agent that lies to you, and you climb a leaderboard to nowhere. Be the source yourself, the tool multiplies you. Same automation, opposite result. So pick your side. Either you become the source, the person who breaks a job into atoms and teaches the machine to multiply you, or you let the tool drive and torch the GDP of a small country on tokens to win a leaderboard nobody even asked for. Amazon, pick that side. Marcus won, Bezos nothing. He can keep $1 trillion. I'll take the 10-minute books. Finally, I beat Bezos. Here's the whole thing in one line. AI isn't replacing people. People who learned to teach AI are replacing people who didn't. The model is ready. Your instructions are not. You are the bottleneck. And the homework you keep skipping is the only thing standing between you and 10 times the output. I spent real money and a year of pain to learn one stupid thing. The machine was never the problem. I was under-instructing the smartest employee I'll ever hire and blaming the employee. The fix was never a better model. The fix was me doing the work I skipped. Tuition paid, again. At this point, they should just mail me the degree.